All right, welcome back. So we are breaking down some finance terms today on News 15 at noon, and joining us now virtually is our finance expert, Nick Sapienza. Good afternoon, Nick.
Hey, Taylor.
It's okay, so these definitions, it can be kind of confusing. So today we're talking about IPO. What is it?
It's a great question. Yeah, this industry is has no shortage of jargon whatsoever. So an IPO is an initial public offering, and it's basically a private company saying we're going to allow individual investors and ordinary people to invest and own shares of our company and maybe have a say-so in its future plans. And so it's a way for those companies to raise money and expand and take on new projects and other things, and it gives people like us, like you and me, a chance to own a piece of a large corporation. So why should we care? Well, because it's pretty unique, right? We can own a piece of a large company and participate in its future success. That's the idea of investing. Everybody's familiar with that concept. And look, most of these names in the IPO space, in the initial public offering space, are names that you've never heard of. You'll probably never come across them. But people can get really excited about a few that fall in the category what we would refer to as unicorns. Okay, so unicorns are private companies that have had parabolic success. They're outliers in their respective field. Their CEOs are best described as eclectic, and they have a value that exceeds $1 billion already before they even go public.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's a really, there's a lot of hype involved. There's a lot of enthusiasm surrounding that issue. People are really excited to get their hands on some shares. But what's interesting, though, this year is that we're on pace to break the all-time record for IPOs that was set back in the year 2000. We could see over $100 billion in new capital raised this year and more than 200 newly listed companies by the end of 2020. Now, this is all information that I've gotten from Josh Brown on his podcast called The Compound. I highly recommend checking out that podcast and the IPO episode specifically. But to me, it's just odd that this is all happening to this extent during a pandemic. This was not on my bingo card for 2020, nor was really anything that's happened. But people seem, surprisingly, there's an intense enthusiasm for risk this year. People seem to operate in the mindset that stocks can only go up. And so it makes sense for these companies that were planning to go public one day to speed things up and do it now while the appetite's right for it. So what's next? What are people excited about now in the space? Airbnb, which is a company I'm sure you're familiar with.
Oh yeah, everybody. I feel like it's a household name now.
Exactly. I've used it several times. I love it. It's, their whole concept is live like a local. It's a different experience than a hotel, in some ways good, in some ways bad. But people are really excited about this one. My advice typically to people is to watch from the sidelines. And because it's not uncommon to see a stock pop 60, 80, 100%, it's really difficult to get in. And it's really sort of a speculative situation. So I'm always advising just to, watch the circus from the bleachers and maybe sit this one out.
Well, Nick, this has been a great educational experience about IPOs. And if you guys want to learn more or rewatch this, if you've missed something, we're going to post Nick's interview on our website, klaf.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. But first, let's check in with Adam.
Well, it is a